U.S. men's national team lose 4-0. No one's really talking about that. All we're talking about is everybody seems to want to take their shot at Pulisic. Pulisic came out today, said he wanted to play in the friendlies. And I'll let you guys take it from here. Share your thoughts on what you think with what's going on. You guys know a lot more about it than I do.
Well, I'll just first say that, obviously we've been chatting with the match the other day, 4-0. That's not a good look.
Didn't get a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just, and we've been saying it for a while, of trying to find players that can step up and rise to the occasion. This is an opportunity. I was listening to after the match, DeMarcus Beasley, was pretty blunt about it and just said, like, hey, some of these MLS guys, this is your fucking opportunity to step up and earn a shot in getting in the squad World Cup. And it's a massive missed opportunity, and that might be the last for those players in the cycle, because you could see, Switzerland is not a bad team. They have some really good players, experienced players, but I'm sorry, 4-0 is not fucking good enough. And they know that. I'm sure the players will have to have a look at themselves. And, like, we've been bad games, bad performances, but I can tell you, like, the one thing is, you don't fucking, you have a bite to you. You get fucking stuck in. You leave a tackle in. Show your aggression. The one thing that I saw when there were substitutions, we're fucking doing step overs and flicks and shit. And the 75th minute, we're fucking down 4-0. What is that? I'm literally looking at that. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. It's disgusting. When you're trying to do flicks and tricks, I'm like, you're doing that when you're fucking up and you have confidence you're playing well? No, you're fucking play simple, play basic, get to the goal, get an opportunity. And, I just think there was a lot of players that were really off. Defensively, offensively, we're fucking poor on both ends, and I think some of the players need to look at themselves and realize, hey, I need to step it up a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, for me, I watched the game and I think only one time Diego Luna put in a slide tackle. I don't think I saw anyone else make a tackle the entire game. We lose 4-0 in the first half. It's like I'm shoving somebody, I'm throwing somebody into the boards or something. I mean, you saw it at TSD. I'm a competitive guy, and that means fuck all compared to this. Like, we're a year away from the World Cup, and I didn't see anyone get angry. I didn't see anyone show emotion or care, but and that doesn't come from anything. I mean, I put that in Sunday League, like, come on, this is for the national team. And like you said, Switzerland isn't the best team. I mean, they looked unbelievable against us. The guy who scored 2 goals, I think it was his first cap. He's 19 years old. Somebody freaking throw him to the ground. All right, you score 1. All right, you're not going to do it again. That's my mentality. That's just how I always played.
Yeah, leave an extra stud on him, something.
Matt Turner also looked like a goalie who hadn't been fucking playing at all. He was lost in the sauce, dude.
But he hasn't been.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Problem.
But they sold him to. Didn't he just get sold to a French team?
Lyon, I believe. No.
Yeah, $8 million, I think.
I mean, for me, I think this is a couple, and I like Matt. I think he's a really good keeper. I think he's one of the better keepers that we have. I think he needs to be playing games, but also, for me, I look at it and I go, he makes the move to Arsenal. Fucking unbelievable. Great move. He's there. It's an adjustment. And, I remember, like, my last couple of years we had a player on our team that joined Cheshire Housewives and would get absolutely fucking slaughtered. And one of them is actually 2 of our teammates. One of our teammates refused to be on. And he was actually brilliant. Phil Bardo, he was an amazing guy, but he was a hard-nosed motherfucker. And we had another guy, and he wanted to be on the TV show, and it was a big fucking distraction. And guys would slaughter him for it. Now, I'm not saying this is like a big issue, but I'm saying, like, understanding there's a transition, there's pressure when you go over to England. England's harsh. It's like, it's legit. And then you're seeing, like, I have mates over in England, and they're saying group chats, and like, what is your mate doing? And you're seeing he's on a TV show, and you're like, keep your head down, right? Just get over there, grind, graft, make a name for yourself, get yourself, be the first place goalie, And then he goes over to Forest, struggles there, right? Then Palace, and trying to get in there. He's the backup there. So, he hasn't had first team football in a while. And for me, he's our best goalkeeper that we have. And great with hands, shot stopping, everything. Calm, composed, but he does look off. He looks like he's trying to find his form again. And we need him to find his form, right? If we want to have the best squad and the best players, they need to be firing all cylinders, and that includes Matt. And I just hope he gets his head right. He's focused, and he's really pushing for this spot on the team, because there are questions raised right now.
So Christian offered to play in the friendlies, but not the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
Apparently, I saw that when you sent it.
Would he have been? Did he want to be around for the Gold Cup or not at all?
No.
Yeah, I think obviously Christian, he wanted to play in the two friendlies and didn't want to play in the. Not say he didn't want to, but he needed the rest. And with the European schedule and everything like that, while the Gold Cup goes on, they're in preseason. Teams are joining in a preseason, so it's very rare for guys that are playing in Europe to be playing during the Gold Cup.
I never knew that.
I mean, it's usually the players that won.
You know what it is though? It's because fucking US always won the Gold Cup, so it didn't matter.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I think that is true, and I might be fucking talking out of my ass here, but
it's either US. It would always be US, Mexico in the final.
Yes, every year, no matter what.
Right. And the only time really when it was really, really big and really important was for the Confederations Cup, the year before the World Cup. Now, there's no Confederations Cup. We're fucking hosting the World Cup. So it's here, right? They're doing the Nations League, all this stuff. It's changed. So, for me, you have a guy, one of the best players in the world. Yes, he's what he's doing, what he's playing right now at the level that he's at AC Milan. He's flying. We've known Christian's had injury problems. What the fuck is wrong with people saying, you know what? He's grafted. He's been there. The only time he hasn't been with the national team is when, if he gets injured. He's always there. And guess what? For him to say, I need a break, because we all know that that's a long-ass season going in from preseason. If he were to play in the Gold Cup games, then he joins up with this team in preseason. Then he's playing the whole season. Okay, no Champions League football, no Europa League. Okay, he has a full season, including international friendlies throughout the year. Then he's going to join right into a World Cup squad, like a boot camp before the World Cup. People are fucking insane if you don't think or you want him fresh before a season. Because that would be over, 16, 17 months of him playing straight? Just played a long-ass season. Then he's going to go into Gold Cup, maybe have a couple weeks off, playing the friendlies, and go into Gold Cup. 8 more games. Then preseason, maybe 2 or 3 weeks off, then go straight into preseason? Get out of here.
Do you think Pochettino should have let him play in the friendlies?
I personally think so, yeah. I mean, for me, and I can understand.
I feel like he should be around as much as, even if he was not playing, just being around, because you saw how fucking disoriented that team was against Switzerland. That looks like a team that lacks leadership.
Yeah.
On the pitch. I don't know what's going on. I think Pochettino is a good coach. I honestly do.
I think it's just a big change, and I think, for me at least, it's you have guys that are playing in Europe that need playing time. Guys have had long-term injuries that are just coming back, getting their feet wet a little bit, and they need more playing time. Okay, they're the guys that you call in for the fucking Gold Cup. They need games under their belt, right? They need to get their rhythm. So guess what? When they're going into preseason or they're going back to their clubs, They're firing. They're playing really well. They're sharp. Then guess what? That sets them up for the whole season for what? Having a good, great year. But if they struggled to get playing time and they needed, they had injuries, this is the right time for you to be called in. 100%. This is whether the 2 friendlies and the Gold Cup, that's a perfect opportunity. 1, get confidence, get yourself going again. But for guys that have come off of a long-ass season, yeah, fucking, I remember just my experience when I left from Houston and I went over to Stoke. I played 18 months straight without a fucking break. And by my first year in the Premier League, I was so mentally and physically fatigued by the end of January, because they come thick and fast around then. I was like, shit. And then, fortunate enough, we got knocked out of the FA Cup. I mean, not fortunate, but would have rather made it further.
Yeah.
But we got 8 to 12 days of warm weather training in Dubai where I just got to shut down completely for the first time. So, and that was, I started preseason in January, and till January after, I think it was middle of February, where I had a 8 to 12 day break. Then I was straight through by end of May, first week of June. And then I had an off season. I'm back in July. That's insane. So we need Christian to be at his best.
Yeah, would you rather do well at the fucking Gold Cup or the World Cup?
100%.
You know what I
want
mean?
him healthy,
and it's like
at Gold Cup or the World Cup.
And the thing that the kicker is for me, when some people speak on this and they don't play, people don't realize that soccer players legitimately never get a break. Like, they play year round with all these fucking tournaments now. It literally never stops, like you said, Geoff. But for guys like Landon Donovan and Tim Howard to speak on this, I don't like that. I don't think you should be going at the fucking. You saw what happened when him and those other guys don't play. You're nowhere near any of these fucking teams that are going to be in the World Cup. And so I don't think it's right for Landon Donovan to be taking shots at him. I don't know. It feels like, I understand people are pissed off, think he should be playing in the Gold Cup or whatever. But I don't. But
this is
players that played, man. Those are players that have fucking been in it, and they just want to be pissed off. It's like they lost 4-0 to Switzerland, and somehow that's still Christian's fault. It's like, maybe you look at what happened and realize that these guys that are taking this rest are the only chance you have in the World Cup to fucking make the knockout rounds and go on somewhat of a run.
And don't forget. Remember when Christian left Chelsea? And all the people were saying, Landon came out and said he needs to come back to the MLS. Guess what? He got to move to AC Milan and ball the fuck out. And he was the first one to throw kind of Christian under the bus and say, hey, by the way, you really should come back to the MLS because he needs to be playing. He needs to get his confidence. He needs to be this. Because he was in and out. Dude, well, guess what? He was no American player that we've had has been at the clubs that he's been at and been successful. People forget, when he was at Chelsea, he was flying. He was given the number 10 jersey. He was flying, got injured, came back, got sharp again. He was starting to get his form, got injured. The inconsistency of the tackles that he would get. You remember, I was living over there. He was a special player for Chelsea. And he had injuries that happened to him. Okay, struggled to find his form again, right? His confidence.
Yeah, they also changed coaches how many fucking times too? It's
exactly.
When people forget, people think it's like when Christian played at Chelsea, he was always good. He fucking Champions League winner, dude.
Yeah. Now Tuchel was his manager at Dortmund. Obviously, there was something between them. They didn't really get on with each other, right? Whether they were vice versa. But then he comes into Chelsea. Okay, he's out.
Yeah.
And then, Poch, don't forget, Christian was leaving, Pochettino when Pochettino took over Chelsea. So there was a small overlap there. But Landon was the first one to come out and hammer Christian for not coming back and saying they needed to go back to the MLS. Well, guess what? Christian's mentality is a little bit different. You know, I spent some time with Landon. Landon was an amazing player, unreal. But he was great, and he enjoyed being in LA and living that way. Where Christian, and I 100% agree with Eddie Johnson came out and said, because it couldn't have been more spot on. What he's had to do and the pressure that he's had at that young age and what he's done and performed, he's produced more than any other American we've had. And that's a fucking fact.
Yep.
So Alexi Lawless can say whatever the fuck he wants to say. Guess what? When I was there, he was screaming at everybody because we're tattooed millionaires. Well, guess what? Sorry that guys got paid more when we were playing than you were. So sorry. So what? Guys have tattoos. Now we're tattooed millionaires and we were the assholes. There's always something on a generation or someone to say something. And I think that's the part. I'll remain a player always, first and foremost, because there's been ups and downs and negative things that happen throughout your career. And people know behind closed doors, some things are said, some things that should never be said, right? And those are private. But to call out a teammate, guy that you've fucking shared a dressing room with, and then you come out publicly and kind of slaughter him a little bit, but then you give him a slide of a text message or, just asking the complete opposite or saying, hey, I support you, but let me go publicly and fucking slaughter you. Fuck out of here. And Christian had every right to say what he said. And, I don't agree with what Charlie Davies says, like, oh, would you change your... No, he wouldn't change his fucking mind. Come on. You're the first one to say something too. So there's got to be something. Like, people have lost their mind. We talked about this before, right? Last week's episode. Why was Christian? He needs a fucking rest. People get off his ass. Guess what? If Clint needed a rest, fuck yeah, Jurgen would have given him one because he's a dog, right? He's a grafter. He's a fighter. There was no question of his mentality. That's the difference. There was no question. Simple as that. There's no question that Christian is 100% invested in the American soccer team. There's no doubt. So people need to fucking shut their mouth and stop questioning a kid that has been there since 17 years old. People just need to stop. Let him play. Because guess what? When he gets back on the pitch and he scores a fucking goal, it's a big fuck you to everybody else.
Well, that's the thing. That's like when you watch him, what's happening with this team without him and those other guys. It's like maybe you should think about treating these guys a little bit better. Because clearly without them, they're the ones that they're stirring the drink. And I understand the Gold Cup. Yeah, you should. Maybe guys want to play in it. Maybe they don't, whatever. But like, as far as Christian's concerned, this is what, the first tournament he's ever missed for USA?
Yeah.
Legitimately. Before World Cup. It's like, maybe you just let this one slide and say, be healthy for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And it's like AC Milan wasn't the only big name that was knocking at the door either. Like Liverpool had an offer for him too.
But it's funny when people say, yeah, but Ronaldo and all these guys were playing. Guess what? How many games did they just play? Now they're off. That's it. They're done now. They're in their off season.
Yeah, but Landon Donovan was pissed off at them too because they switched jerseys at halftime. How are you supposed to fucking play in a Nations League final when you're switching jerseys at halftime? How are you supposed to?
Who did that?
How are you supposed to carry on? How are you supposed to carry on in the Nations League final?
But he scored the fucking goal.
When guys are switching fucking jerseys at halftime, okay? I've had enough of it. This bullshit. Yeah, act like those guys aren't putting on brand new jerseys at fucking half, dude. Who gives a 100%. Shit? It's the fucking Nations League, man. Acting like it's a World Cup final. Losing his shit.
I don't know. We're so focused on...
just went through the gauntlet like Concave right there. Just fucking knocking doors down. I like that.
Say that again?
I'm saying that range just went on was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I was just... Because it's true, though. Like, I bite my tongue. I don't say anything. Because, yeah, people can say all the shit they want. Like, whatever about me. But I don't care. It's the point where, like, we should be building these guys up. If Christian wants to take whatever off, He's not important right now. Christian is not fucking important right now. What's important is for us to find players that are going to fucking step up. You know what you're going to get with Christian. It's a fact. Can't question it. What we can question is other players on the fucking team or who's going to be on that roster. Who's going to be there that can step up? Well, guess what? We got fucking smashed 4-0. It's a big question mark still.
Didn't give up
right?
a goal. Didn't give up a goal in the second half, though, right?
Got a little bit better.
You know what I mean? No.
Yeah, if you're gonna look at any positive,
you know what I mean?
you gotta look at the
0-0.
guys that came in.
Didn't lose the second half.
Yeah.
You know? I just think there's this old idea that you get even if you played the game, if you get in the media, you're supposed to be negative towards the players. It's like you can actually put up the players and support the players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you know the grind, man. You know the graft.
Yes.
There's so many other things that go on off the field, whether it's like family issues, whether it's personal issues, whatever it is. People don't know what the fuck is going on. But because he says he needs a fucking break, why? Because he's fatigued. He needs to shut down, clear his mind, get sharp again, get hungry, whatever it is. Give him his space, right? For me, at least. Christian's my boy, 100%, and I'll always support him because he's a fucking good kid, and people don't know that stuff off the field. He's more introverted. He's more private. But to question his ability, to question his mentality of what and his dedication to the national team, they're just talking shit. That's in a nutshell, you know? And most players would think that.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was surprised Tim Howard too. I was like, I didn't think he would take a shot at him either. But it's like it's kind of like everyone's just piling on, and it got to the point where people had said so much where he had to come out and he did that show this morning. It was like he felt like he had to say something because everyone was just piling on.
Yeah.
He literally had to get, you know what I mean? He literally felt he had to go on a show to get out what was going on, even after he told everybody what was going on.
Yeah.
And everyone just, it's like every time, like, what if fucking they're not going to lose, but they play Trinidad and Tobago on Sunday night in the Gold Cup? What if they tie that game? Then they'll just fucking come at him again. Like, no matter what happens with this team at this point.
Welcome to English football.
Yeah, legit. No matter what happens with this team at this point, it's his fault, man. It's his fault. No matter what happens. And say he's fucking. So whatever happens to the Gold Cup, he's healthy. They go to the World Cup. And then what? They lose in the quarters, and then they shit on him again?
Oh, because he didn't play in the Gold Cup, so it had an effect.
Like it's just, at this point, it's just never going to end. And it sucks because he wants to play for his country. He usually always plays well for his country.
You know, I told you I spoke to him the other day, and, you know, he said, I'm just going to let my play do the talking. And he shut up every single time the critics start saying stuff. He shuts them up. Guess what? He's got that ability to do it, and he will. There's no doubt. So, you know, it's just disappointing on that. And even Jesse Marsh coming out saying there's no people calling, like,
wow, that's,
dude,
no,
you're fucking still butthurt about not getting called into, getting the job.
That's fucking Canadian soccer right there. We're strapping up for the Gold Cup, brother. You know it, I know it. That's Jesse Marsh. That's the Jesse Marsh difference.
Okay, so Alfonso Davies has never called in and said, hey, I need a rest. I need to come in.
No, not with Jesse Marsh. Maybe before him.
That's right.
He's suspended for the first 2 games of the Gold Cup too, isn't he?
Yeah, it's great professionalism, Jesse. Yeah. Oh, I would never change a thing. Well, you're fucking on the sideline.